Welcome to Building a Legacy podcast, powered by Wealthy Results, LLC. Here we dive into everything funding, entrepreneurship, and building generational wealth. This podcast was constructed for the builders, the opportunists, the risk takers, the long-term thinkers. No hype, no shortcuts, just the real. Real stories, real strategies, and real wealthy results. Welcome to the number one podcast for entrepreneurs who understand that real wealth isn't just what you make, but also what you leave behind. I'm your host, Leon, and I appreciate you being back with us today. Last episode, we told the story. The Army, the wins, the losses, losing 50K and getting fired, and then having to rebuild. But today, we're going deeper because none of that happens without a mindset shift. You don't become an entrepreneur when you get an LLC. You become one when your thinking changes. Today, we're breaking down the difference between an employee's mentality and an ownership mentality and why that shift changes everything. So, Mr. Holmes, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. I second what he said, man. I'm excited for the second episode. I'm excited to have y'all on today. Thank y'all for y'all support, y'all love, man. So we're going to pour that right back into y'all and give y'all as much game, real deal, no fluff, nothing but game, man. So, yeah, let's get it, man. I'm excited for it.
For sure. Okay, and like always, we're going to get you started with the easy one. What is ownership to you?
Ownership. I kind of have to go off of my own definition of financial freedom, because that's kind of, it ties hand in hand. It goes along with each other. And my definition of financial freedom would be the ability to live off your own resources. And that doesn't mean necessarily rich. Whatever means support your own life. You're living off your own resources. You're not working for money. You have money coming in from your assets. And that's what ownership and financial freedom would mean to me.
Okay. I love it. All right. And then so we move right on into the first segment of the day. We're going to define the shift. So last episode, we touched on you planning your exit while you were still working full time. Let's start there. Before you even left your job, what shifted in your mind to where you said to yourself, this will be my last job?
That's a good question. That's been going on for a while. Years before I finally left my job. But once I started after we first started our first Amazon business, what we touched on a little bit last week, and I kind of got a little taste of success and ownership and living off my own resources. Once I got the taste of it and I knew that's what I wanted to do, working at a job from that point on was kind of uncomfortable for me, and I kind of always was kind of planning my exit, just didn't know when I was going to exit. So my mindset shift in that moment was, I would say, once I'm realizing I'm building someone else's dream instead of building my own dream. Someone else, the company I was working at was BGIS. Somebody else had that idea. Somebody else wanted to start that company and build generational wealth for his family, his kids, or her kids, or her family. And I no longer wanted to support that. I mean, I support them because they are who I want to be eventually, because they're a big company, nationwide company. So I support them individually, but I didn't want to work for their goals. Didn't want to work for them. Getting paid wasn't enough for me. I like to make money, and there's a difference between getting paid and making your own money.
For sure. Okay, so what would you say is the biggest difference between how an employee thinks and how our owner thinks? Just so our listener can begin to, identify those thoughts and begin to make that shift in their mind.
There's a couple things that come to mind. First one is complacency. No one that I know in business or successful, and I'm not a millionaire yet. I will be, but and I'm on my way there. But I have been fortunate enough to be in rooms with millionaires and multimillionaires and very successful people, and the one thing I got from all of them, none of them are complacent. While working on jobs and even in my time in the army, you hear people use words, I'm comfortable, I'm stable, I can provide for my family, and that's all they want. That's all they're looking for. They don't have goals to dominate or accomplish more. I actually just saw a video from your boy Cam Newton, and he said, "We don't train to be good; we train to dominate." And that's the difference between greatness and mediocre or average. We don't want to be good as owners. We want to dominate our industries. We want to dominate the business world. We want to give back and help others. And the employee mindset, they just want to get by, and that ain't gonna work over here.
Okay, I definitely understand that. So, for someone listening who's working a 9 to 5, what's one habit that they can adopt this week to start thinking like an asset builder?
I'm gonna answer that question, but let's go back to the other one because you mentioned, you said the difference in mindset, and I said complacency. I want to throw a statistic out there I saw too. Of the richest people in the world, 75% of those are entrepreneurs. 7% were athletes. 15% were investors. 0% was workers and people who had jobs. There's never been a person who got rich from their job. So if you have desires to be rich, and I don't just want to throw it out there because it's never about the money for me. Y'all will hear me say that probably every episode, but it's a tool. Money is a tool. Being rich is a tool. So if you want to have that access to as a tool, and you're on a job, you have to find faith and take action, which will answer the next question, which one habit that someone can adapt to be a successful entrepreneur. I probably misworded the question, but that's the gist of it. You have to take action. You gotta. There's a couple of ones I'm gonna hit on, but the first one is taking action, and taking action and learning, being committed to yourself. Take action in. I have a 30-minute rule. Meaning when someone texts me or email me about business, or they have a question, I have to respond in 30 minutes. Because like if I don't do it now, it's gonna wait till tomorrow. Then just start stacking up, stacking up. Don't be a procrastinator. I know it's hard. That's something that we all fight with. Even though I have that 30-minute rule, I don't stick to it as much as I should. But you have to hold yourself accountable. That's another one. Accountability is probably my biggest pillar in life, because you have to know when you make mistakes. Of course, other people can say you wrong, but until you admit that you're wrong and that you can make better decisions and that you can do better, you won't get better, because the first step of getting better is acknowledging that you was in the wrong.
Okay, I love that deep explanation. So, and then that takes us right on into the next segment. So security versus freedom. Why do you think so many people stay in their jobs that they hate? Is it fear, comfort, or is it stability?
All three, all three, and I'll even add one. The lack of knowledge. So fear, people are scared to take chances. They don't believe that they can do it. They let other people's mistakes and failures have a big impact on them, so they are not able, or they won't take the chance. What's the next one? Stability. They're too comfortable. They're getting their paycheck. They're paying the bills. They can buy their bottle of Hennessy, or their drink of choice, and that's enough for them. They don't desire, or they maybe even envy those who have money. One guy was my at my last job, whatever, we was talking about millionaires. It was a random conversation, but he was like, no one should have that much money. Like everyone should be workers and stuff like that. And I'm like, whoa. Absolutely not. But that's something his dad probably told him, and they got passed down the generation to
Right.
generation. And that won't be said in my house because if you want it and you feel like you deserve it and you work for it, it's gonna come to you naturally. Just do the right thing with it. Like I mentioned earlier, money is a tool and use it that way. Don't work for your money. Don't be a slave for your money. Have it work for you. So those are the differences or the things that hold workers back from being owners. Stability for sure. Fear. And what was the last one?
It was fear, comfort, and stability. Those kind of two kind of go
Yeah,
together.
comfort and fear, stability definitely go together. So yeah, complacency. Um, I never even heard the word complacency until I joined the army. But once I heard the word complacency, I think someone maybe even called me complacent, and I didn't know what it mean. So I went back and I looked it up. Complacent. I said, "Oh no, that ain't me." So ever since then, like I hate the word complacent. I hate to see people that are complacent because that's not the way to get better, man.
For sure. For sure. Okay, so if job security isn't real or guaranteed, what should people really be building?
Entrepreneurship is risky, but I honestly feel like working a job is riskier because most entrepreneurs they have multiple sources of income. You working that job, that's your only source of income. You get laid off that job, you get fired or whatever, you lose your income. You lose how you know what I'm saying, you making money and now you have to kind of start all the way back over versus entrepreneurship. You lose one customer, you just keep searching to find another customer. And everyone sells at the end of the day, even doctors. It looks different on each level, but all of us are in sales. But in business, the sales, if you get told no 40 times and you get told yes that 41st time, depending on your industry, and that one yes can be $2,000. That's someone's 2 weeks worth of paycheck, 80 hours worth of work. Your 40 no's didn't take that long. So what I would say you need to build if you're seeking or you want to leave entrepreneurship is because it's all personalized to you, whatever that you want. If you just want to live on your own terms, everyone has two choices: to live the life that's already created for them, to be born, go to school, work till you're 65, get your check. They gonna tax you once you get your 401k. Then you just live a little bit, then die. Or you can create the life that you want to live. Go on vacation when you want, not miss your kids' sports events or the important things that matter. Not saying that won't happen in entrepreneurship because that's viable to happen because you are busy, and especially in those early grinding years, certain things will happen. But eventually, what you want will happen way quicker than working on your job will. Since you all guys know what the results, we specialize in business funding, and I always like to say I can get you approved for $100,000 faster than you can save it, faster than your boss will pay you $100,000, and faster than you. I mean, I already said save, but yeah, faster than you can save it, and faster than your boss will pay you $100,000. So it's way easier on the entrepreneurship side than working. All you got to do is you got to learn the game, man. Like I said, commit yourself to learning, and once you start learning and doing those things, and like I said, it's all about commitment and consistency. And once you get those things, you'll build what you want. And I feel like everyone has it in them. They just gotta find it. Yeah.
Nah, for sure. Um, I definitely agree with a lot of the points that you were making, and that pushes us on into just the next segment where we talk about just the responsibility of it all. So when you're an employee, if something goes wrong, you can point to a manager or to a department, and when you clock out, that responsibility stays in that building. But when you're an owner, there's nowhere to point. The responsibility comes home with you. So, what did that weight feel like when you went full time? Talk to the people who may be hesitant on making that next move.
It might be a little different for me than y'all because like I was planning my exit for years. So when that exit finally came, I was super excited. There was time I would say let's skip that first year because I still was running on adrenaline rush for the whole first year. So my second year, when things wasn't working out how it was designed, wasn't coming in as fast as I thought it was, no matter how hard I was trying. It doesn't work that way, and there still gonna be times where you start to doubt yourself like that. I can go back to working, you know what I'm saying? They make, you know what I'm saying, $2,500 a week, and I can, you know what I'm saying, I can go back to comfortable. Right now it's uncomfortable, but even every stage in life, right? You have to be uncomfortable to be comfortable. Even with kids, when they potty training, they start, you know what I'm saying, you take the diaper off and you put their underwear on and they're peeing and dookie on themselves, whatever, that's uncomfortable. But that forces them to learn and get better. And you find comfort in the uncomfortable after a while. For see, I really I try to wake up every morning at 2:30. It doesn't happen most mornings, yes, but I'm human, so I'm human, so it doesn't work that way all the time. I get tired too, but at first that was very uncomfortable for me. It was very uncomfortable. It was hard, but the more I kept doing it, the more I just kept doing it. That became my comfort. Waking up early became my comfort zone. Now if I sleep in, it's uncomfortable for me. I feel like I did something wrong. I cheated myself. I cheated my family. So you have to find comfort in the uncomfortable times. When you first step out there, it's not gonna work. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna get a whole lot of no's. Um, you just gotta keep going, man, and you just gotta keep going, find some resiliency, and the biggest thing in it all, I would say, is find a mentor, because that's invaluable, for real.
No, for sure. I definitely agree with that. I'm still searching for me a mentor at this time. But you kind of touched on it, but I'll still ask the question, what is something about ownership that nobody really warned you about?
um, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. I mean, a lot of people, especially the social media gurus, and that's what makes it so hard. And I'm gonna go ahead and shout it out now. Y'all follow me, Holmes.rc on Instagram. If you're on LinkedIn, RC Holmes. But all the social media gurus, they will tell you how good it is. They will share all the good, and they make it seem so easy. And I'm not gonna lie, it got me because I'm a passionate learner. I strive to learn every day, something new, and I'm always seeking for different opportunities. So when I'm hearing all the, oh man, they doing this, and I'm coming back home and I'm sharing my wife, saying, oh look what he did to make $200,000, I can do that too. And then I go try to do it like wah wah. It doesn't work that way. So I would say how hard it's gonna be. No one really shares their failures, but there actually is more knowledge in the failure than the success. I actually just attended another podcast, Failure is Knowledge, and I love the name because that kind of stands a lot about what I'm about, because without failing, you don't learn. You won't get better. And so anytime that you do fail, anytime that things don't work out your way, as long as you learn from it, it's not a failure. It's a learning experience. And when I mentioned the people, my early businesses that didn't work as designed, I don't call them failures. I said I had a couple early learning experiences that led me to where I'm at now, because I learned from them, and so they wasn't failures.
Nah, for sure. Um, I definitely agree with that. Anytime that you experience, even if you fail, you gain experience, and that levels you up even if you wouldn't have tried and you just kind of just sat back and planned the whole time. So let's move along to the next segment. And let's talk about money. So let's say I'm a listener and this is my last job and I'm ready to shift my thinking. How should I typically think about money differently now that I'm an entrepreneur?
Don't be scared to invest in your business. Don't be scared to just because the income isn't coming in, or you might be running low and you have a business expense that need to get paid, or you don't have the business cards or some whatever it may be, and you need to invest in your business no matter what. And don't be scared to invest. My mentor, I think I mentioned this on the last episode. I talk so much to different people throughout the week, so it's hard to say when I be saying stuff. But my mentor told me is don't worry about what it costs. Worry about what it's gonna cost you if you don't spend it. So if you don't invest in a mentor, if you don't invest, let's stop there. If you don't invest in a mentor, it's gonna cost you all the learning experience that he went through, that you can skip. You can learn the game directly for somebody who's already in the field that you already trying to do. If you're trying to write a book, there's plenty of people out there that's teaching people how to write books. Why not invest in that to learn how to do it the right way first? And that's something that I'm guilty of, that I did at first, not now. I spent a lot of money on mentors up to this point. I'll say probably 100 grand, honestly. And that's probably the best money I ever spent. You have to invest in mentors, and don't be scared to invest in yourself. No matter what, you have to keep putting the money back in your business. And that's another change of thought process of direction that you have to get used to, because in the first couple of years, it depends on the industry, because some people, they jump out there and they make good money from the start, and I'm saying, and that's good for them. But for the average one, it's not gonna be like that, right? You're gonna struggle, and the money you coming in, that's money you're getting. It's not your money. You have to put it back in your business. You have to reinvest it to grow your marketing, better website, better business cards. You have business attire. Put it back in your business. You can wait and ball later. So that's the biggest one right there. Wait and ball later. Don't pay yourself too early. Put it back in your business.
For sure. That's the one that everybody should write down. Wait and
For
ball
sure.
later.
Write
I
that
like
one
that.
down. I'm gonna write it down right now because I ain't never said that before. Wait and ball later.
All right, cool. So if I'm a listener and I want to start thinking like an owner today, what should be my first practical step financially?
Make sure your credit's straight. That's the biggest one. Um, I know I said this the other day. I was Mr. Cash is king. I don't need credit. I would say that all the time. I was screaming from the mountaintops, but wrong. Because the more I got into business, the more I started learning business. You're not a real business owner with bad credit, or if you're not taking credit serious. One of my friends, they said cash is cute, credit is leverage, and leverage is probably the one most common used business word out there. And if you want real leverage, you have to make sure your credit is straight. And let's stop on that for a while, because people get caught on your credit score, right? And credit score is good, but we want to make sure we have a strong credit profile. For example, Leon, he can have one car payment that he's paying on time, and he might have a 700 credit score. That's good because he has a 700 credit score. But if I have multiple credit cards that I'm paying on time, I have a car, the same car payment that he has, and I have the same 700 score. My profile is more built out than his. So lenders are more, they're more prone to lend me the money than to lend it to him, because it's all about the credit profile. I was actually on the call with a bank representative. This was yesterday, and when I asked them what their credit card criteria is, the very first thing she mentioned was is about the profile. It's not about the credit score, and that's something that I already knew. I teach it. I stand by it. But when she said that, it just kind of reinforced what I already knew and how important it is. So that is the very first thing I would say that you have to worry about financially. Your savings, it matters. It matters if you're able to save and you working a good job that you're able to save good quite amount. That's good, but the most important thing by far is making sure your credit profile is straight and it's structured and it's ready to go.
Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next segment, the identity shift. So at what point did you stop thinking like someone who works for income and started thinking like someone who builds asset? Like what was that moment? Do you remember? Was it an exact situation that happened or?
Yeah, I would say so. I shot him out on the last episode, and I probably shot him out every episode. He's the GOAT in my eyes. Jim Rohn. He says, um, focus on what type of person will you need to become to be who you want to be, right? So me as a business funding expert, what type of person will I need to become to be the best business funding expert? I need to be a person that studies business funding tips. I need to be a person that's passionate about reaching out to lenders and different banks, and to making sure I'm staying up with the market and things like that. I need to be a person that's networking and seeking entrepreneurs to help. So once I heard that, it was kind of an immediate shift. Because I kind of listened to a lot of different things he say. Not a lot. I listened to a lot of different things he say, but that was one of the ones. And I encourage you all to do that as well. Focus on the person, the type of person you will need to become to be who you want to be. If you want to be a successful real estate agent, study the successful real estate agents. And that's another thing that I did as well. I studied other funding brokers and brokerages. Nobody do it like us at Wealth of Results, though. I had to make sure I put that in there. But but yeah, you have to focus on the person that you have to become to be who you want to be.
Okay, I like that a lot. So what's something after the mindset shift? What's something that you live by now? Now that you're an owner, that's vastly different from what RC the employee thought.
We touched on it a little bit earlier. Respond within 30 minutes. I pride myself. It was I had a networking breakfast this morning. It was started at 7:30, and it's like maybe a 45-minute drive away. And her wife like, why you leaving so early? Like I have to be on time. Like I don't want to be the business owner that's showing up late. That's how you present yourself, right? Like that's if I showing up late or whatever, and I'm going up here and talking about business funding and all these personal development habits that it takes to be successful. No one's gonna take me serious. Oh, that guy just came in late. Like I try to really practice what I preach. Versus when I was an employee, I show up late all the time. I would show up not in the best mindset, not ready to work, not ready to get the job done. Now, that's what I mentioned on the last episode. Once you find your purpose, it's beautiful. You don't feel like you're working. You don't feel like I love what I do, man. I love when I'm networking. I love when I'm on call. I love what I'm doing now on this podcast because we're talking business. I feel like I'm helping people. I am helping y'all as long as y'all following along and taking notes. But I love what I do, man. So I would say the biggest one is showing up on time, showing up ready to work, showing up Oh, being prepared. That's probably the biggest one. Every call that I have, I make sure I have a detailed call plan for that customer, because here at Wealth Results, there's no one size shoe fit all. Every business is different. Everyone deserves a personalized plan for their business and their funding needs. So I make sure that I'm very well put together and organized, way much more than when I was an employee. But being an entrepreneur, that's a requirement, and that goes back to what I mentioned. Being what type of person that you have to become to be who you want to be. And I had to change some of those habits. Disorganization. I had to become organized. I had to be a better communicator. And those are some of the things for sure that's different. RC now than use my nickname than the sizzle that y'all wouldn't know 10 years ago.
No, for sure. I definitely think punctuality is definitely like a habit that comes from like the military. Is definitely important for perception about the
Yeah.
person that you are and the business that you represent. So I like that one for sure. So moving right along to our next question. So now let's say I'm the listener and I'm ready to make the shift. I feel it happening. I'm thinking differently. I'm saving and I'm building credit, learning skills. Now I'm standing on the edge. How do I know it's time to move?
You won't never know. You won't never know. There's very few that have natural talents or have natural desires of the things that they want, or they know very early what their purpose in life is. And if you are one of those people, congratulations. I envy you a little bit, because for the rest of us, you have to just jump and go through different experiences, go through different learning experiences to find your purpose, or to find that, okay, now this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is the right time to, I'm saying, focus all in on one thing. You will never know or never feel that this is the right time, because we all human, and our conscience is always gonna tell us like, let's kind of stay with the comfort route. Let's not just jump if we're not all the way planned, because we ain't gonna never feel ready. There's things I do, and I'm ultra aggressive with everything I do, and but there's times where I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. Because I'm already and to add a story to that. I'm already part of networking groups and things like that, and I was thinking about joining another one here, and I didn't really. It's not about the money, but I don't want to spread myself too thin with it, and it was an investment for the networking group. I think it was 1,200, whatever. And I wasn't sure. I was kind of on the fence if I wanted to join or not. And my wife, she asked me, said, "Are you? You told me about this. You ever join?" I'm like, "Nah, I ain't. I don't know." She said, "Why not? That's an opportunity to put yourself in front of more people. I'm saying, put your business out there more." I was like, "But I'm already part of these groups, but you're not part of all the groups." That's what she told me, and that was the breakfast meeting that I told y'all about that I went to this morning. And in that very first breakfast meeting, when I stood up and introduced myself to everyone, hey, I'm RC Holmes. What the results? We do business funding. Afterwards, I met two people that came up to me that need business funding. They would have never known me. They would have never met me if I didn't just take the chance and just join the group and went out there. I wouldn't say step out my comfort zone, because that's something I'm very comfortable with at this time. But if I didn't get that, then off of those two people, once I helped them get funding, I probably tripled the amount that probably is over triple. I don't bad. I'm not bad at math. I ain't gonna say that. I'm good at math, man. But but yeah, got my investment back already just off the one breakfast meeting. So yeah, just imagine once I continue to show up and continue to go through different networking events and stuff like that. So yeah.
No, for sure, for sure. So, is there like such thing as jumping too early?
Nah. Yeah. I'm wrong on that when I said no. There's a part when you jumping too early. When you haven't thought it out at all, you don't know nothing. You haven't done no research. You just want to jump. Like I mentioned, I was on the phone with the business rep earlier today, and he told me like you'll be surprised how many people come to me with no the LLC isn't registered, but they come to ask for business fund and they don't know nothing about business and stuff like that. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl because that kind of already start building your track record right there because that banker he's gonna remember you when you come here the second time. Oh, she didn't or he didn't know what she was talking about the first time she came in here. They have no organization. They paperwork wasn't together. They had nothing. So I would say making sure that you at least try. You're never gonna be 100% ready, but at least try to be as close to 100% ready as far as having your documents in order as possible before you jump in and having an idea of what you want to do before you do it. If you already have something that you're passionate about, I suggest going to that field because if you chase money, it's not gonna last. You're gonna start feeling like it's not worth it because you gonna you gonna feel like it's not worth it. But if you have something that you're passionate about, that's what I suggest from the jump. Get your stuff ready, study something that you're passionate about. 'Cause I guarantee you that someone else is already doing what you want to do, and don't be scared because they already doing it or they're doing it because I can't. There are a lot of other business funding brokerages out there. I actually just went to a business funding broker event in Miami this past week, and there were different lenders on the stage presenting. It was 7 of them out there. They all offered the same type of loan product. They were the same lender type of lenders, but none of them were competing with each other. None of them were scared to go up there and share their tips and their business because their competitor might steal what they had to offer. So don't ever be scared because you see someone else with that business idea or somebody else with that plan. There's enough out here for everyone. And one of the things that I had to learn is I kind of assumed that people knew about business funding because to somewhat it can be simple, right? But once I figure out like you ain't know that, it kind of became obvious like there's so many people that don't know what you know. I believe the stat that you only have to know 15% more than your customer to be considered an expert, and that's most of us out here. So don't be scared, and you can jump, you can do it. Just make sure you're trying your best to be organized and to have it together before you jump. Because if you don't, you can make a fool of yourself.
Okay, for sure. Really good answers always. So, when someone starts to think like an owner, and eventually funding becomes a part of the conversation, at what stage should someone truly seek capital?
Uh, um, I would say early, even if early, because the goal for all business owners is to probably leverage OPM other people's money to grow and scale your business, or at least start establishing your business foundation, your business structure the right way. And part of your business foundation and structure is making sure your business is building its credit on its own, because I mean we all have a social security number, and that social security number reports to the credit bureaus, and that's how our credit report is reflects and how it grows and declines and whatever, because everything goes off our social security number. In the business world, we all have EIN numbers, and that EIN numbers it reports to Duns and Bradstreet, and Experian has a business report and credit reporting system as well. And so early on, you want to go ahead and start building your business credit, even if it's just something small. If you're in transportation, you drive a lot, get a business credit card that's based on fuel, a gas station credit card or something like that. That you starting to get money back, you starting to get some points back. Some of you probably heard it, maybe not, but the debit card was meant for broke people. I didn't quite understand that, but we all should be using credit because you're getting something back. I don't care if I buy a pack of bubble gum that costs $2 and I get a dime back. You're not gonna get nothing back if you buy that pack of gum with your debit card, or if you fill up your gas. You're getting something back every time, and it's benefiting your credit as well. As long as we're responsible and we're paying those things back on time. So I would say very early you should start at the bare minimum. Get they're called net 30 accounts with Lowe's if you were in the construction industry or something like that. Just something that relates to your industry at the bare minimum, or a regular business credit card. That should be in the very early stages of your business, because you want to start early to build that structure and foundation, because later when you go to seek bigger capital to open up your second location or hire new people for payroll, or you want to expand your fleet of vehicles, you're going to need, the lenders are going to look at your structure and see, hey, have he ever been responsible with money? Have he ever been in charge of the money that he's coming to asking us for? So you want to make sure that you start early building up that foundation and that reputation that you can pay back, and you can, that you are responsible.
It's like building a credit profile for your business, like what we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. That is very important.
Okay. So you said early, but what does too early look like as far as trying to get funded?
There's no too early. As long as your credit profile, and that's why I hit on it so much earlier. We probably talk about it, the importance of both profiles, but I'll touch on it a little bit in this episode. But the importance of the credit profile, I mentioned that earlier, and the importance of the business credit profile, or business, not credit profile on the business, but the business structure. As long as you have a good credit profile and your business is structured like a real business, and and they showing that you invested in your business with a website and that you are serious about it, you can get capital with a brand new LLC. The lender that I just got the phone with earlier, which I'm glad I met them, they have a program for startups up to $100,000 for startups. There's no time required limits or requirements for that business. You can be a brand new LLC, brand new in business, but again, your credit profile has to be structured the right way, and your business you have to present yourself as a business. Walmart and all these other big companies, they don't have their home address listed as their business address. They're not using their cell phone number. I'm talking too much, man. I want to give y'all all the game too early, but stay tuned. Maybe the next episode we'll get into all that. But you want to make sure everything is, you present yourself right, and there's really no limit early. And we didn't even get into business credit, so yeah, there's no time limit or too early when you can start accessing credit. You can have a brand new LLC and get funded tomorrow. I've done it.
Okay, great. Wow. Big gems, dropping big gems all day. So perfect segue. So next week we're going to talk about why most businesses fail in their first year, because the mindset alone isn't enough. Execution matters. But before we close, I'm going to get into some rapid fire questions. You can answer quick, and if you want to elaborate, you can.
Yeah, I know why I can't talk quick.
So we're going to go with the first rapid fire question is, what lie do people believe about entrepreneurship?
We kind of hit on that earlier, that it's easy. Even myself, right? When I was halfway in and halfway out to something, I know I talk a lot, man. But I just said this earlier today as well. when I was halfway in, I was halfway out. You know what I'm saying? Money was good. I was making income from my business. I still had my income coming from my job. You know what I'm saying? So money was real good. And I was, hey, everybody should be entrepreneurs. Everybody should do this. Everybody should be a business owner. I still believe everybody has it in them. They have to, you know what I'm saying, invest in the right mentor or find what they want to do to pull it out of them. But at the same time, it ain't for everybody. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears behind it. A lot. I mentioned earlier, I wake up most mornings 2:30 a.m. And that's not something I want to do. It's just a requirement. And either you do what's required or you get left behind. It's not that easy, as most people think it is. So I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. That is easy and everyone can do it. It's hard work, man. But it's a different type of hard work. It's not the type of hard work, and I'm a I'm a double back because we kind of asked this question earlier in the episode: the difference between employee mindset versus an owner. Um, there's people like my granddaddy and older people in our culture in our that they believe in working hard, work hard on your job, right? But there's a saying: if all if hard work was all it take, the donkey will own the farm, right? So yeah, and I'm in the rapid question with that.
Okay, I love it. I never heard that one, but that's a real good one. I have to write that one down too.
Yeah, write it down. If it all it took was hard work, the donkey will own the farm.
All right, so rapid fire question number two. What's the number one habit that you felt accelerate your growth as an entrepreneur?
Nah, lifelong learner, being willing to learn, not thinking you're bigger than learning. There's something else that y'all probably know I said on the last episode. I'm gonna say it on the next one probably. You have to be willing to learn at all times from anybody. That's actually one of my core values. I have it written down in one of my notebooks. Never be too big to learn, and that's definitely a big one for me because there's so much people out here that on different levels that know stuff that you don't know. You're never the subject matter expert in everything. Learn something from everybody and try to apply it to your toolbox.
No, for sure. I definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. All right, so next rapid fire question: motivation or discipline, and why?
Of course, discipline. I love motivation though, but it's not. If I have to pick one, it's discipline every time. And why? Because motivation fades. I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. I am a motivational speaker. You know what I'm saying? Eric Thomas. I'm gonna shout out a few to my boys, man. Eric Thomas. And what's the Marine? What's his name? I'm sorry, I'm drawing blank right now. Riley right
David
now,
Goggins.
David Goggins, yeah. I listen to him a lot. I'm about to go too much, but yeah. And it fades. But the discipline to just to make yourself uncomfortable or keep going in those uncomfortable situations, it takes more. And I'll let y'all a little insight of what discipline looks like for me at the moment. Right now I'm fasting for 7 days. I know that's kind of a big trend on social media and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. Everybody algorithm is different. But I am fasting for 7 days. My whole household is eating normal, as if they're not, you know what I'm saying? It's a normal day for them. I just went to I told you I went to a breakfast. Everyone at the table with me, they was had their breakfast, they was eating. But you have to have the discipline to say no, that's not for me. I gotta keep going. So yeah, don't quit.
For sure. I love it. I love it. So, last question of the day for rapid fire: consistency, or intensity, and why?
That's a real good one. It's almost hard to choose between the two, but I'm gonna choose consistency. Because you have to show up even when it's not going good. You have to show up when it's going right. You gotta show up when you're sick. You gotta do what's required. But I'm gonna add intensity to that. Be intensity with the consistency.
That's all for today. We're gonna end this off with our closing question. So if someone's listening and they actually commit to thinking differently, and they want to start today, how could that change their trajectory of their life in the next 5 years?
Tremendously. First of all, you'll be a better person. You probably feel better because if you're listening to this podcast, that means you're someone who's seeking better. So if you actually start applying those daily disciplines and those daily habits to become better, in 5 years, once you actually those things you starting to see the fruit of your labor and your hard work. You're gonna feel better about yourself. The people around you, they're gonna see the development. And once people start complimenting you, not that none of us seek compliments, but it means something when we get those compliments. So I would say definitely, definitely a tremendous amount of improvement, success. Yeah, that's probably it.
Okay, for sure. I love it. And as always, I love having a conversation with you. Last week we told the story. This week we broke down the mindset. Next week we're gonna get tactical because building a legacy isn't just about thinking different, it's about executing differently. And as always, remember, employment pays you for your time and ownership pays you for your decisions. Keep building, everyone. Thank you, RC, and we'll see you again next week, everyone.
Let's go. Like, subscribe, and share.
Show peace.
Pieces.
Thanks for listening to Building a Legacy podcast. If you got value from today's episode, leave a review. And if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Share this video with someone who's serious about building their future. And if you're a business owner looking for funding, growth, or new opportunities, you can connect with Wealthy Results LLC using the link in the description. Until next time, keep building, keep growing, and keep creating wealthy results.